In the depths of a distant forest lived a small beetle named Aegon. Aegon was a rhinoceros beetle with a golden sheen, his shell gleaming in the sunlight as if studded with countless tiny stars. The other insects in the forest envied his beautiful appearance, but Aegon was not happy, for he felt utterly useless. His friends all had special talents. Ants could carry food dozens of times their weight, bees could brew sweet honey, spiders could weave intricate webs, and even the tiny fireflies could light up the night. As for Aegon, he could only flutter about with his sturdy elytra and occasionally use the horn on his head to nudge leaves, but he had never accomplished anything significant. This made him often retreat to the roots of the old oak tree, gazing at the sky in a daze, dreaming of becoming a true hero. He often wished he could be as strong as an ant, as organized as a bee, or as clever as a spider. He even tried to mimic his friends' skills, like helping ants carry a leaf, only to shatter it due to improper force, or assisting bees in collecting pollen, only to knock off the petals with his speed. These failures deepened Aegon's frustration, leading him to wonder if he was the most useless insect in the forest. One day, a terrifying rumor spread through the forest. A venomous snake named Black Wind had arrived from a distant swamp and was lurking at the forest's edge. Black Wind was several meters long, with scales as black as night, and its poisonous mist could wither plants in an instant. It declared its intent to dominate the forest, drive out all the insects, and even devour any animals that resisted. The insects panicked, gathering under the old oak tree for a meeting to devise a plan. The ant leader, Ironhead, suggested, "We can use our strength to drive Black Wind away." But his deputy, Little Strength, cautioned, "Black Wind's scales are harder than stone, our jaws can't hurt it." Queen Buzz of the Bees proposed, "We can attack its eyes with our stingers." Yet a dragonfly scout reported back, "Its eyes are like red rubies, even the sharpest stingers can't pierce them." The spider elder suggested trapping Black Wind with a web, but everyone knew the snake's strength could tear through any silk. The insects argued endlessly, but no viable solution emerged. Aegon hid in a corner, listening to the discussion, feeling both afraid and discouraged. He thought, "I don't even have the courage to join the debate, let alone confront Black Wind." Just then, an old firefly flew over to Aegon and whispered, "Little one, don't underestimate yourself. Every life has its purpose. Perhaps your moment has yet to come." Aegon felt a flicker of hope at these words, but he shook his head, saying, "I'm just an ordinary beetle, what can I do?" The old firefly smiled, patting his elytra, and said, "You have your horn, your wings, and most importantly, your heart. When you find your own path, these will become your strengths." That night, Aegon had a strange dream. He dreamed he stood atop a mountain peak, his horn transformed into a golden sword that shone brightly, dispelling the darkness. In the dream, a gentle voice told him, "Aegon, your courage and kindness are the forest's hope. Go forth and find your strength." Upon waking, Aegon felt as though the dream was guiding him. He decided to stop hiding and do something for the forest, even if it was just an attempt. Recalling the old firefly's words, he began to consider his own strengths. His horn might not be sharp, but it was hard, his wings might not be agile, but they allowed him to fly high. Perhaps these modest traits could prove useful in a critical moment. The next morning, Aegon quietly left the old oak tree and flew toward the swamp where Black Wind lurked. He soared over lush meadows and through dense bushes, finally reaching the swamp's edge. The air was damp, filled with a foul stench, and thick fog shrouded everything. Aegon cautiously landed on a stump and spotted Black Wind coiled atop a boulder, its red eyes glinting in the mist like ghostly flames. His heart pounded, but he mustered his courage, flew before Black Wind, and shouted with all his might, "Black Wind! I am Aegon, representing the forest's insects to warn you. Leave here, or we won't let you off." Black Wind paused, then let out a low, mocking laugh. "Ha! A tiny beetle dares to challenge me? What can you do?" Aegon didn't know what he was capable of, but recalling the dream, he puffed out his chest and said, "I have my horn. It's more powerful than you think." Black Wind sneered, opened its jaws, and spat a cloud of poison. Aegon quickly took flight, narrowly dodging it. He noticed that despite Black Wind's strength, its movements were not particularly fast, perhaps an opportunity. Aegon began circling Black Wind, using his agile body to draw the snake's attention. Enraged, Black Wind thrashed its tail, trying to strike Aegon, but Aegon darted like a golden flash, always evading. At that moment, Aegon spotted a dead tree behind Black Wind, its trunk rotten and swaying precariously. An idea struck him. He flew to the tree and rammed it with all his might using his horn, once, twice, 3 times. The trunk creaked and finally crashed down, landing squarely on Black Wind's tail. The snake roared in pain, struggling to free itself, but its tail was pinned. Seizing the chance, Aegon flew before Black Wind and said boldly, "Now you know the insect's power. Agree to leave the forest." Though trapped, Black Wind resisted, snarling, "You little pest, I'll eat you someday." Aegon knew the tree wouldn't hold Black Wind for long. He needed a more permanent solution. That he recalled an ancient stone array in the forest, said to be a trap left by the insect kings of old to fend off invaders. The array featured towering stones connected by clever mechanisms. Triggering the right stone would cause all the boulders to collapse and crush the enemy. Aegon decided to lure Black Wind there. He flew back and taunted, "You clumsy snake, can't even catch a little beetle, still want to rule the forest?" Infuriated, Black Wind broke free from the tree and lunged at Aegon. Aegon took flight toward the stone array, with Black Wind in hot pursuit. Along the way, Aegon deftly dodged the poison mist and the snake's strikes, finally leading it into the array. The towering stones, covered in moss, exuded a mysterious aura. Following the legend the old firefly had shared, Aegon located a stone carved with a beetle pattern. With all his strength, he rammed it with his horn. The stone shifted slightly, and the entire array began to tremble. Before Black Wind could react, boulders rolled down from all sides with a deafening roar. Aegon flew out of the array and looked back to see Black Wind trapped under the stones, unable to move. Its red eyes dimmed, and it finally lowered its head, conceding, "I surrender. I will leave the forest." Aegon sighed in relief, but to ensure Black Wind kept its word, he flew back to the forest and rallied the ants, bees, and spiders to monitor the snake until it departed. Sure enough, a few days later, Black Wind limped away, injured, and never returned. The forest regained its former peace, and the insects held a grand celebration for Aegon. They wove him a crown of petals and named him Guardian of the Forest. Standing atop the old oak's highest branch, Aegon gazed at his cheering companions, his heart filled with warmth. He finally understood the old firefly's words, "Every insect has its purpose," and his was to protect his home with courage and wisdom. From then on, Aegon no longer felt inferior. He flew across the forest daily, helping ants carry food, assisting bees with pollen, and repairing spiders' webs. His golden elytra shone in the sunlight, a symbol not just of beauty but of bravery. The forest's insects would never forget how this small beetle, with his horn and heart, defeated the fearsome Black Wind and safeguarded their home. His story was turned into a ballad by the fireflies, sung on every starry night, inspiring generation after generation of insects to bravely face challenges and find their own light. Agen's adventure did not end there. He began exploring the forest's deeper secrets, hoping to make his home even better. One day, deep in the forest, he discovered a massive dead tree containing a gem that shimmered with blue light. The gem emitted a warm glow, causing nearby plants to grow lusher. Egen suspected this might be the legendary life stone, capable of bringing endless vitality to the forest. He decided to bring it back to the old oak so all the insects could share its power. However, the gem was guarded by a giant centipede. Named Iron Claw, this creature was a meter long, with an indestructible, segmented exoskeleton. It coiled around the tree's roots, claiming the gem as its treasure and threatening to devour anyone who approached. Egen knew this challenge would be tougher than facing Black Wind, but he refused to give up. He flew back to the forest and sought help from the ants, bees, and spiders. Moved by Egen's courage, they agreed to act together. The ants would dig tunnels to approach the gem from below, the bees would use their buzzing to distract Iron Claw, and the spiders would weave a large net to trap it at the critical moment. Egen would draw Iron Claw's attention head-on. The plan began, with Egen flying before Iron Claw and shouting, "Iron Claw, I am Egen. This gem belongs to the entire forest, you can't hoard it." Iron Claw let out a shrill laugh and lunged with its many legs. Egen dodged nimbly, guiding it toward the spider web. Meanwhile, the ants dug furiously underground, finally reaching the gem and pushing it upward. The bees swarmed above Iron Claw's head, their noise disorienting it. Just as Iron Claw was about to catch Egen, the spiders tightened the net, trapping it. The ants seized the chance to roll the gem to the surface, and Egen flew over, using his horn to push it toward the forest's center. Though Iron Claw broke free from the net, it was too late to pursue. The gem was safely brought to the old oak, its light revitalizing the forest. Flowers bloomed, and trees grew greener. The insects cheered again for Egen and his friends, hailing them as the Forest Hero Alliance. Gazing at the thriving forest, Egen felt fulfilled. He realized his mission was not only to protect the forest but to improve it. He began leading the insects to learn from each other's skills. Ants taught cooperation, bees taught precision, and spiders taught innovation. Egen shared his experiences with the younger insects, saying, "No matter how small you are, with courage and wisdom, you can change the world." The forest grew more united, with every insect finding its value. Egen's golden elytra became a legend, his story carved into the old oak's trunk as an eternal tale. Each night, the fireflies gathered around the oak, singing Egen's ballad, their voices echoing under the stars across every corner of the forest. And Egen, still flying daily through the forest, used his horn and heart to guard this beloved home, ready to face new challenges and write his ongoing legend. Do you still like today's story? If you like, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like icon. You can receive notifications and hear the latest stories as soon as possible. Good night, my baby.